I think we're live. Hello, my name is Robin Stone. I am a classical guitarist, singer, songwriter. Probably the thing I like to do the most is play classical guitar. I'm also a teacher. I've taught private guitar lessons since January of 2000. So a long time now. I work in a school, charter school, and I teach music there as well. So pretty much teach music, write music, play weddings and bar, restaurant kind of things too. What I wanted to do today, the reason why I'm doing a live stream, I wanted to do a series. I have these books that I learned from a long time ago. This is Mel Bay's Classic Guitar Method. This is actually book 2, but I have book 1 on the stand. I'm just going to play through them, so I know there's a lot of students out there who might feel like they're not good enough for something because when they play something it's not perfect. So part of my thinking here behind this is just to do this live and just have it be real. Like this is, I'm just going to play through the book. No filters, no edits, just this is what this book, how I would play the pieces in it. I'm not going to play every single piece, but I'll pick and choose things as we go. So, starting on page, what page is this? The book is so old that it's kind of folded over. I can't even see the page number. We're looking at page 10. I skipped over the basic information about the notes, whole notes, half notes, bar lines, all that kind of stuff. And we're just starting with the notes on the E string. That's string 1 on the guitar, the finished string. Don't leave your pick in your strings. Mistake number 1. So I'm going to play E. The book starts with whole notes, so for the first page I'm just going to play the whole page as written. So it starts with whole notes. The first note is E, the open string, F, which is the first fret, and G, which is the third fret. I'm just going to count out loud. So we got whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, then F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are whole notes. So E, F, and G. Then it goes to half notes. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2. Rest, rest. And I just use the palm of my hand to silence the strings. I like to use the right hand because if you use the left hand, you can wind up having notes ringing out. So I'm just playing, silencing using my right hand for the rest. I call it the karate chop technique. Don't break your guitar if you use that technique. Then we move on to quarter notes. We got again, the same 3 notes. Now on the next page, we have the notes on the B string. It's going to be the same thing. Whole note B, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, C, 3, 4, B, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, B. So then we go on to half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, another thing, just real quick, the book is recommending alternating with I and M. So index and middle fingers, I'm just alternating back and forth. So now quarter notes. Okay, next page, notes on the third string. So we've got whole note G, 3, 4, A, 2, 3, half notes. popular Sparkling Stella, also known as Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Some people refer to it as the alphabet song. But the book calls it Sparkling Stella. So here we go. And then on the next page, now I'm up to page 13. It's a right hand study. So now we're starting to move back and forth between strings. So I'm going to switch my right hand technique to a free stroke. Just because I find it easier to move across strings that way. You could do it either way. I'm just going to switch to free stroke for now. I'm going to skip the repeat on that. There's a repeat dot. Okay, so now the next piece is called Introducing the Right Hand Finger A, which is annular in Espanol, ring finger for those people who are not familiar. So when we talk about classical guitar, we refer to the right hand fingers as pulgar, indicio, medio, annular, and chico. So this is introducing the right hand third finger. Okay, The Merry Men is the next one. This is the first piece, I believe, in this book that is in 3/4 time. So 3/4 time means instead of counting in groups of 4, we're counting in groups of 3. Again, it's going to be on those first 3 strings, and just kind of the beginnings of a scale. So. And there were fingering suggestions there. I ignored them, just kind of did whatever felt right. So, okay, so now I'm on 14. This time I'm going to skip the whole notes. I think we get the idea, whole notes, half notes. I'm just going to go right on to quarter notes. So I'm going to use my thumb because I like to play the 3 thicker strings with my thumb and then the 3 thinner strings with my fingers. Not always, it's not a rule or anything, it's just a comfortable way to keep your hand on the guitar. So we got D, E, and F. So again, quarter notes. String, we have the A string, so I'm going to go A, B, and C. Again, I'm skipping whole notes and half notes, going right to the quarter notes. And then the 6th string, E. So we have E, F, and G, which is also the notes for the the first string, so these two strings are the same. So I'm going to do, again, quarter notes, E, F, G. Okay, then page 17, first two solos. First one is called How Can I Leave Thee? And andantino is the next one, which is a musical term. It means walking or comfortable pace, let's say it that way. So here is andantino. And then we have another waltz, the first string waltz, they're calling this. 2, 3, 1. Oh, maybe I should stop and mention this. Dotted half notes are frequently used in 3/4 time because they fill up the whole measure. Just like a whole note fills up the whole measure in 4/4 time, a dotted half note fills up the whole measure in 3/4 time because a dotted half note gets 3 beats. So, trying to prevent my coffee from getting cold as I play. Here is first string waltz. 3. I'm going to skip the repeat dots there. They introduced the high note A. I guess that's why they call it the 5-string waltz. That's the 5th fret of the first string is the note A. And then the next thing is the note, all the notes we just covered all together. So this, I'm just going to play it like a scale, kind of. But that's the open position scale, I guess you could call it. And then they have a piece, one of my favorite, I remember, I haven't played this in years, but one of the more fun things, when I bought this book, it came with a cassette recording. It was a long time ago. It came with a cassette, and I remember playing along with this piece because it covered all the strings. It was kind of exciting to me to actually cover something that sounded melodic, you know, for the first time while reading music. I had learned to play scales and like the pentatonic scale and the blues and stuff like that before I learned how to read, but this was the first time I was actually playing a melody that sounded like a melody. So here is Sixpence. Fun little tune. Okay, then we have a study introducing the pickup note. Pickup note is when, for example, in this piece, there's 4 beats per measure. This is in 4/4 time. but there's only one note in the first measure, which is usually for like in a repeat situation, it's beat 4, right? So you might have a song where you have 3 beats at the end and then you repeat back to the beginning, which I'm not going to do, but that's the way generally pickup notes work. They create a rhythm that allows you, if you're singing a song or playing a song, it allows you to do repeats and keep continuity in the flow of the music. That's not what I'm going to do here, but just a little side note. So this is a study introducing the pickup note. So I'm just going to count it in. 1, 2, 3. Again, there's a repeat out there, but I'm not going to play the repeats. So at the edge of page 19, this is an etude, just I guess kind of review of all the notes, incorporating half notes and quarter notes. So. Again, that has repeat dots, which I'm ignoring. A study, this is the beginning of page 20, a study by Aguado. So that one I did do the repeat dots. There was a repeat dot at the end of each line. As I said before, unfiltered, leaving the mistakes in. So it is what it is, right? Just keep going. That's what I always tell my students. So here we are. This is this next piece doesn't really have a name. It's just starting to introduce the idea of playing harmony. Instead of just melody, one note at a time, now they're going to start to harmonize the notes. So we're starting with the single notes, then harmonize. So some more harmonized stuff. Okay, now kind of similar thing. It really starts to make the guitar sound like you're playing chords. So an advantage the piano player has over the guitarist is that they have 10 fingers, so they can play 10 different notes all at once. We only have 6 strings on the guitar, and we're using half of our fingers to pluck the notes, and the other half to fret the notes. And so we're limited, but we can still create the harmony. A lot of times you can use notes from a chord to suggest the harmony, and I think that's kind of what's happening here. All right. Okay. Next piece is Follow the Leader. So I mentioned the name of this book is Mel Bay's Classic Guitar Method. Well, there's also a book called Mel Bay's Modern Guitar Method. And in the Modern Guitar Method book, this next piece is called Follow the Leader, and it's written as a duet. So the idea is that the teacher and the student get to play together. So there's this kind of conversation happening between two voices. Well, in this book, it's designed more for solo playing. So they've taken both parts and combined them into one kind of classical guitar kind of solo thing, 2 melodies together. So it'll sound like this. Again, I'm going to skip the repeats on that one. And we're moving on to Alpine Echoes. Let's start that over. 3/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Just remembering again, like I said, I taught myself, so I had a teacher that I took lessons with for like a summer, and he taught me like what the notes were out of the Mel Bay book, not this one, the Modern Guitar Method. And then I remember I was living in Missouri for a while, and there was nothing to do out there. And so I had bought this book and just spent my days practicing, kind of teaching myself to play classical guitar. And then later on, I went to school for music and stuff like that. But just some fond memories. Kind of a lonely time, but it gave me time to focus on learning something and growing as a musician. So it was good. Anyway, end of page 21. This is Waltz. A study. So what we have in this next piece is just whole notes with the thumb and playing melody with with the fingers on the. So we got like treble strings and bass strings, right? So the thumb is kind of playing the bass line, a simple bass line, while the melody plays a simple. The fingers play a simple melody up top. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, next piece is called the tie waltz. So they're introducing the idea of holding a note out. Usually ties are used when one note rings longer than a measure. So that's kind of what they have here. No repeats. The chord waltz. So now we're on page 23. They're starting to introduce chords, which most people just kind of learn by kind of strumming the chords, right? So he's breaking it down though into here are the notes of the chord. For example, a simple C would be the note G, C, and E on the guitar. On the piano, you would do C, E, G because C just sits right in the middle of the piano. But on the guitar, we're starting with G because it's kind of a convenient fingering, easy way to learn the beginning chords. So we're going to have C, that's G7, another way to play G7, back to C. Then the builder, again we're building on the chords, so and then there's this one, it's called small chord etude, and it shows strumming. So again, going back to that original Mel Bay book where they would have used a pick, what I'm going to do for the strumming is I'm just going to use the back of a nail. So in flamenco and classical guitar, we'll do strumming, but we won't use a pick necessarily. You can, but a lot of times we use the back of the nail. Where we are, but I'm just strum the chords using my nail. So that's a little bit of strumming technique. All right, bass accompaniment with bass solo with chord accompaniment. So now, again, we're playing chords, but now we're starting to incorporate melody, more of a melodic effect with the thumb. So we're going to have little minuet. This is an adaptation by a melody by Carcassi, famous classical guitar composer from the classical era in music, maybe early romantic, somewhere in there. Anyway. Starting to get a little more interesting now. We're up to page 25. I'm planning to go to page 30 for this particular lesson, and then probably next time I will do the rest of the book. And then my plan was to do both of these books. Number one, because I just like playing the classical guitar. Number two, I wanted to be able to share something with people again without all the constraints, you know, and limitations of editing, and you just seeing it for what it is. This is real, mistakes and all. So we're on to chords. So now we got C, F, and G7. Some accompaniment styles you might use. Or maybe alternating bass. Time. So, chromatic scale. Usually this is the first thing I teach my students, so I'll have them do like a 1, 2, 3, 4, just to get their fingers moving. Coordinating the two hands together to do that, like so 4 notes on each string. So we talk a little bit about that, and the C major scale. C major scale is just C to C, all natural notes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. If you like to sing, it's a great way to warm up. If you're like me, I'm a baritone, so I like to sing in this kind of range, this kind of middle range of the guitar. C. G is pretty comfortable for me too, but like C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then the chord kind of tunes my ear into what's going on. So this is all like stuff. I remember learning this book and learning some of the strumming patterns from the original, the Mel Bay modern guitar, and just like starting to write songs, you know, based on some of the chord progressions, just because it was fun to do, not any big extravagant deal like to sell $1 million record, although that would be nice, but mostly just because it was fun to do, you know, and then jamming with friends and stuff like that and making up songs. Always fun to do that. So you could take these ideas and incorporate them into your own music. Even if you're an advanced player or intermediate player, you might find some stuff in here that will give you a fresh perspective. That's what happened to me when I was learning these things. Okay, so minuetto. At page 27, moving on to, these are some more of my favorite stuff. A daily scale study. I just really like these, the melodic moving around the fingerboard. A lot of times I would play these with a pick in the Melba. I think there's common ground between the two books, but I am going to play it finger style since this is the classical guitar method. So I'm going to start my thumb on the note C. Another helpful tip if you're reading music and you're playing scales, if you know it's going to be a scale, like pre-read it and make sure, but if you know it's going to be a scale, you can just look at the bottom note where you're starting, and then how high up does it go? Like in the beginning of this, it started on C and then went all the way up to D. I know it's a scale, I don't need to really look at all those notes. I can just, then, okay, now it's going back down. So that's kind of a nice tip that one of my teachers through the years taught me that I found helpful. All right, a study in eighths. Challenging little tune. Okay, now we're moving on to the A minor scale. So the relative of C major is A minor. So it's all natural notes, but there's three ways to play the A minor scale. One is to play just all natural notes starting on A, just like we did with C, but now on A. B, C, D, E, F, G, A. But then there's the harmonic minor scale, which adds in the raised seventh, which harmony, right? Like, so if you're doing chord progression in A minor, you might have A minor, D minor, and E7, which has that G sharp in it. So this is a cool time to use the harmonic minor scale, which gives it, I don't know, a little more jazzy, interesting sound. So here's the A natural minor scale. a harmonic minor. Now that creates a problem because if we have the distance between G sharp and F, it's actually a third, so it's not a step anymore. So someone, somewhere in history, I guess, created the melodic minor. So now I have the raised sixth note M7. So now it's going to be A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. And then back down, we go back to the natural notes. A, G, F, E, B, C, D, A. So that's what's going to happen in this next piece. This is a visit to the relatives. At the end of page 29, and then the chords for the, which I mentioned before. Chords, we got A minor, D minor, and E7. These are the chords in A minor. So if you're writing a song and you want to create more interesting parts, like a lot of times you might hear songs that are just C, F, and G, right? But you could play C, F, A minor, D minor, G7, and walk back down, F, E7, and then back to A minor. Just a, different way to explore all those chords and kind of mess around. Another thing I like to do when I write songs is I'll write like an A part, like maybe the verse will be C, F, and G, and then I'll write a bridge or a chorus in A minor, D minor, E7. I've done that a few times too, so it's a fun way to play around with these things. All right, so chords in A minor, accompaniment styles. And then a little etude. Now we're starting to incorporate arpeggios in the right hand. So we're going to have, this is a P-I-M-I-A-I-M-I. So that's going to sound like. Another cool thing you can do with this kind of stuff, if you're used to always playing with a pick, right? Let's see if I can grab a pick. And you always write songs like, right, with a pick or whatever, like. If you learn how to use your fingers like this, you can actually create some more interesting styles of accompaniment. So now I'm going to do A minor. Here's another thing I like to do, and I'm not going to break out the loop station right now, but I use a device called the loop station, and I'll record chord progressions like this one. This would be a really fun thing to just practice the scales with, and just practice improvising melodies based off the A minor scales, which we just talked about, the 3 scales, and see how they sound with the chords. So it's more of an ear thing. Like improvisation is more free. You don't have to necessarily play the notes exactly as they are on the page. A lot of times I'll play something like this and then just make up my own melody. So that's a really fun thing to do. But that brings me to page 30, which is where I was going to stop. Having said that, I'm going to play one more piece. This is page 31. It's a waltz. It's a first full page piece in this book, and it'll be fun just to explore. This is a waltz by Fernando Carulli, another classical early Romantic era composer. So this is Waltz by Carulli. And that's it. I'll stop there. Next time I'll finish up the book. So the book goes up to page 48. So we're more than, I guess we're a little more than halfway through. But the music gets more complicated as we move on. So the second half might be a little bit longer. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me. Or thanks for watching if you discover this later on. But again, thank you.